Welcome to a new series on wives murdered by their husbands. Dark stories of betrayal and horror. Like, comment, and subscribe to follow every chilling case. The autumn chill settled over Bolingbrook, Illinois, as the late afternoon sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the quiet Pheasant Chase Drive on October 28, 2007. Stacy Peterson, 23 years old, with a bright smile and blonde hair that fell in soft waves, moved through the kitchen of her two-story suburban home, the air warm with the scent of cinnamon from a candle flickering on the counter. Stacy was a whirlwind of energy, her petite frame darting between the stove and the fridge, her hands stirring a pot of chili for dinner, her laughter filling the room as she chatted on her phone with her sister, Cassandra Kales, about Halloween plans for the kids. The house, a modern brick colonial bought in 2003 for $280,000, buzzed with the chaos of family life, toys scattered across the living room, a pile of laundry on the couch, the TV playing cartoons for her two young children. Anthony, 4, with his father's dark eyes and a love for dinosaurs, and Lacey, 2 years old, her curls bouncing as she danced to the theme song. Stacy's stepchildren, Christopher and Thomas, from her husband's Drew Peterson's third marriage, were upstairs doing homework, their voices a faint murmur over the clatter of dishes. Stacy's life revolved around the kids, her part-time job at a local salon, and her nursing school classes at Joliet Junior College, her dream of becoming an RN, a light at the end of long days. Drew Peterson, 53, a burly ex-cop with a gray mustache and a commanding presence, lounged in the garage, his hands greasy from tinkering with his Harley Davidson, his police radio crackling softly on a workbench cluttered with tools. Drew, a retired Bolingbrook police sergeant with 30 years on the force, carried himself with the swagger of a man who knew power, his 6-foot frame filling doorways, his jokes quick but edged with control. He and Stacy had been married since 2003, their romance sparking when she was just 19, a hotel clerk dazzled by his charm and badge, their wedding a small affair after his messy divorce from Kathleen Savio, his third wife. The marriage had weathered storms, Drew's controlling nature, his late-night shifts at the station, the whispers of affairs with younger women. But Stacy held it together, her love for the kids and her faith in Drew's promises keeping her anchored. She wore a red tank top and jeans that day, her wedding ring glinting as she chopped onions, her voice bright as she called out to Drew, "Dinner's almost ready." "Don't stay out there all night," he grunted a reply, his mind elsewhere, his phone buzzing with a text from a woman he'd met at a bar, his secrets piling like the tools around. The house felt warm but tense, the cracks in their marriage widening since Stacy started nursing school in 2006, her independence blooming as Drew's grip tight. She'd confided in Cassandra over coffee weeks earlier, her voice low. "He tracks my phone, checks my texts. He's different since I started classes." Drew's retirement in 2006 hadn't helped. His days now filled with odd jobs as a cable installer, and too much time watching Stacy, his jealousy flaring when she laughed with classmates or stayed late at the salon. He'd been married 3 times before. Connie, who left in 1982 after his affairs. Vicky, divorced in 1992 amid claims of his temper. And Kathleen, whose 2004 death in a bathtub, ruled an accident, left whispers of foul play. Stacy knew the stories, her unease growing after finding a file in Drew's desk with police reports on Kathleen's death, her questions met with his sharp glare. Don't dig into the past, Stace. That October, eh, she'd told Cassandra she wanted a divorce, her voice trembling. I'm scared, Cass. He won't let me go. Dinner passed quietly. The kids at the table, chili bowls steaming, Anthony chattering about a T-Rex, Lacey smearing sauce on her cheeks, Christopher and Thomas eating fast to get back to their game. Stacy smiled, her hand ruffling Lacey's hair, but her eyes flicked to Drew, his silence heavy as he spooned his food, his phone face down on the table. After the kids were bathed and tucked into bed by 8 p.m., the house settled, the TV off, the dishwasher humming softly. Stacy sat on the couch, her laptop open to a nursing assignment, her fingers tapping as she studied, her voice soft as she called to Drew in the garage. Babe, you coming in? I need to talk. He appeared in the doorway, his jacket off, his hands clean, but his eyes hard, his voice low. What's up, Stace? She closed the laptop, her breath catching as she faced him, her words careful. I can't do this anymore. Drew, I want out. The air shifted, his face tightening, his step forward slow, deliberate, his shadow looming as she stood, her back to the couch, her heart racing. The argument flared fast, Stacy's voice rising with months of pent-up fear, her hands gesturing as she spoke of his control, his lies, the marriage crumbling under his weight. Drew's temper snapped, his voice a growl. You don't walk away from me, Stacy. She stepped back, her foot catching on a toy, her balance faltering as he grabbed her arm, his grip bruising, her gasp sharp as she pulled free, her gasp sharp as she pulled free. Her eyes wide. Let go. Drew, you're scaring me. He moved closer, his hands swift, wrapping around her throat, his thumbs pressing into the soft skin under her jaw, her nails clawing at his wrists, drawing blood as she kicked, her sneakers thudding against his shins. More me little dad, Addie-ar. Stacy fought, her body twisting, her pregnant frame no match for his strength, her voice a choked plea. The kids Drew stopped. His face was stone, his grip tightening, her eyes bulging as her breath stopped. Her face reddening, then purpling, her body slumping to the carpet, her blonde hair fanning out, her chest still, her life gone in minutes. Drew stood over her, his breaths heavy, his hands shaking as he stepped back. The house silent, save for the dishwasher's hum, the kids asleep upstairs, unaware. Panic hit, but Drew's police training kicked in, his mind a checklist of cover-up, his hands moving with purpose. He carried Stacy's body to the garage, her 120-pound frame light in his arms, her head lolling, her red tank top stained with sweat. He wrapped her in a blue plastic barrel from the garage, a 55-gallon drum used for storage, its lid snapping shut as he secured it with duct tape, the plastic crinkling under his fingers. The kids slept on, the house dark, as he loaded the barrel into his GMC Denali SUV, the vehicle creaking under the weight, his Harley left untouched as he drove into the night, the clock ticking past 10 p.m. His destination was the Bolingbrook Sanitation Yard, a sprawling lot where he'd once worked security, its dumpsters a maze of shadows under flickering streetlights. He parked near a compactor, the barrel heavy as he rolled it out, his muscles straining as he heaved it into the dumpster, the thud muffled by the night's quiet, the garbage truck due at dawn to crush and haul it away. He drove home by 11:30 p.m., the house unchanged, Stacy's laptop open, her phone charging on the counter, her purse by the door, her car in the driveway. Morning broke, the kids waking to cereal and cartoons, Drew's voice calm as he fed them. Mommy went to visit Aunt Cass. She'll be back soon. Anthony asked for her, his dinosaur toy clutched tight, but Drew's smile reassured. His hand ruffling the boy's hair. Cassandra called at 9 a.m., her voice worried after Stacy's missed texts. "Where's my sister, Drew?" He lied smooth, his tone casual. "She left early. Said she needed a break, maybe with a friend." Cassandra's gut twisted. Her drive to the house by 10 a.m., the door locked. Drew gone to drop the kids at his sister's, the house eerily still. She called Bolingbrook PD at 10:45 a.m., her voice shaking. "Stacy's missing. Something's wrong. Check the house." Officers arrived by 11 a.m., Sergeant Troy Antle leading the search, finding Stacy's purse, her wallet with $200, her phone with unread texts. No signs of struggle, Drew's story holding. He was home all night. Stacy left voluntarily. Neighbors rallied, flyers printed with Stacy's photo. Blonde, smiling, last seen in red, posted on poles. The community buzzing with worry. Vigils planned. The investigation deepened. Illinois State Police joining. Detective Dan Giglio sniffing. Lies in Drew's calm. His story too neat. His fishing trips and late-night drives odd for a worried husband. Stacy's disappearance sparked scrutiny of Kathleen Savio's death. Her 2004 case reopened. The bathtub drowning suspicious now. Bruises on her body, a gash on her head, her hair clutched in her hand. Not water-related as rule. Drew's third wife found dead March 2004 in their old Bolingbrook home. Had been in a bitter divorce. Her letters to prosecutors alleging Drew's abuse, his threats. "I'll make you disappear." The exhumation November 2007 revealed homicide. Blunt force trauma. Her death staged as a slip. Drew charged November 7 for Kathleen's murder. His arrest a media storm. Cameras flashing as he smirked in cuffs. His bail denied. The Will County Jail, a fortress of jeers. Stacy's case stayed missing. No body found. The sanitation yard searched November 2007. Dumpsters emptied, nothing but trash. The barrel gone to a landfill in Pontiac, Illinois. 80 miles away, its contents crushed beyond recovery. Gideo's team dug into Drew's life, his affairs with barmaids, his control over Stacy, her divorce, talked to Cassandra. Her fear he'd hurt her like Kathleen. Witnesses came forward. A neighbor saw Drew's SUV at the sanitation yard at 10:30 p.m. Another heard a muffled scream from the house at 9 p.m. The kid's nanny noting Stacy's bruises weeks before. Drew's temper flaring when she studied late. His phone records showed calls to a burner, texts to an unknown number, his alibis crumbling under scrutiny. The media frenzy grew. Cop kills wives headlines. Drew's face on CNN. His charm a mask the public tore off. His interviews cocky. Stacy ran off. She'll turn up. The Kathleen trial opened May 2012 in Joliet, the courtroom packed. Prosecutor James Glasgow painting Drew as a predator, his hands on Kathleen's neck, her body staged in the tub, the bruises and gash proof of murder. Witnesses, Kathleen's sister, her lawyer, detailed Drew's threats, his access to the house post-divorce, his police skills covering tracks. The defense, Joel Brodsky, argued accident. No direct evidence, but the jury saw intent. Convicting September 6, 2012, first-degree murder, 38 years. Drew's face blank as Kathleen's family wept. Stacy's case stayed open, circumstantial but damning. her sister's testimony, her fear, Drew's pattern with Kathleen, his lack of grief, his move to a new girlfriend. Weeks later, no charges filed for Stacy, her body lost. But Illinois law allowed her case as evidence in Kathleen's, sealing Drew's fate. Bolingbrook mourned, Stacy's vigils lighting Pheasant Chase Drive, her kids raised by Cassandra, Anthony and Lacey calling her mom, Christopher and Thomas with Drew's family, their lives fractured. Drew in Menard Correctional, his appeals denied 2015, his letters claiming innocence, his mustache graying in solitary, Stacy's face on billboards, the landfill unsearched. Her sister's foundation funding searches for missing women, the house sold, the kitchen empty, Stacy's chili recipe, a memory in Cassandra's tears. Kathleen's justice partial, Stacy's a ghost in the system. Drew's shadow, a warning of love, turned lethal. As this story fades, another one waits in the shadows. The spring sun filtered through the palm fronds of Hobe Sound, Florida. Casting dappled shadows on the quiet streets of the small coastal town, where the air carried the faint salt tang of the Atlantic and the distant hum of lawnmowers on a lazy Saturday morning. It was April 26, 2016, and Tricia Todd, 30 years old, with a warm smile that crinkled her blue eyes and auburn hair that fell in soft waves to her shoulders, stood in the kitchen of her modest duplex on 9,548 Southeast Astor Lane, her hands busy packing a lunch for her 2-year-old daughter, Faith, the child's giggles filling the room as she played with a set of colorful blocks on the linoleum floor. Tricia was a picture of quiet strength, her 5'6" frame athletic from years of running on the beach and playing soccer in high school. Her hospice nurse uniform laid out on the couch for her evening shift at Treasure Coast Hospice, where she cared for the dying with a gentleness that came from her own losses. Her father gone too soon from cancer when she was just a teen. The duplex, a rental in a neighborhood of tidy lawns and single moms, was her sanctuary since her divorce from Stephen Williams in 2014. The walls painted soft blue, photos of Faith's first steps lining the hallway. The fridge covered in crayon drawings and ultrasound pictures from her pregnancy. Tricia moved with purpose, her voice soft as she sang a lullaby to Faith, her heart full despite the grind of single motherhood and 12-hour shifts, her dreams of stability a quiet fire that kept her going. Tricia's life had been a series of hard-won joys. Born in 1986 to Rebecca Hasselbach and a father she adored, her childhood in Hobe Sound filled with beach days and church youth group. Her faith, a rock through the family's struggles after her dad's death. She joined the Air Force at 18, serving 4 years as an aircraft mechanic, her hands calloused from wrenching on F-16s at Eglin Air Force Base, her discipline earning her an honorable discharge in 2008. Back home, she pursued nursing at Indian River State College, graduating in 2012. Her scrubs a badge of pride as she started at the hospice, easing final breaths with morphine drips and kind words. Her empathy, a gift from her own grief. Faith arrived in 2014, a surprise from her marriage to Stephen, a high school sweetheart who joined the Air Force too. Their wedding in North Carolina, a simple affair with vows exchanged under oak trees. But Stephen's temper and wandering eyes strained the bond. The divorce amicable on paper, but bitter in whispers. Custody shared, but Tricia, the primary. Her days a balance of daycare, drop-offs, and night shifts. Her nights studying for certifications. Her heart set on a home of her own someday. That morning, Trisha's phone buzzed with a text from Stephen at 9:15 a.m., his words casual. "Faith, okay for pickup at 4? Got her overnight," she smiled, typing back. "Sure," she's excited. "See you then." Stephen Williams, 30, with his lean build and easy charm that hit a darker edge, was wrapping up a shift at the Air Force Base in Jacksonville. His F-35 maintenance work, a steady job that paid the child support. His life a mix of gym sessions and bar nights since the divorce. He and Trisha had known each other since Hobe Sound Christian Academy, their romance sparking in the hallways. But marriage brought out his controlling side, arguments over money, his jealousy flaring when she worked late. The divorce, a relief for her, but a wound for him. Faith's custody was smooth, Stephen doting on his daughter with trips to the beach and ice cream runs. But his texts to Trisha carried an undercurrent, questions about her dating life. It is just checking in a thread of possession he couldn't cut. Trisha spent the day with Faith, the two at the park by 10 a.m., the child's laughter ringing as she pushed swings, her small hands sticky from juice boxes, her curls bouncing in the breeze. Lunch was peanut butter sandwiches on the living room floor, cartoons playing on the TV, Trisha's hands braiding Faith's hair as she sang Twinkle, the duplex filled with their easy bond, the outside world a distant hum. By 2 p.m., Trisha prepped for work, her uniform crisp, her makeup simple, a touch of mascara to brighten her eyes, her nurse's badge clipped to her scrubs. Faith napped on the couch, her thumb in her mouth, Trisha kissing her forehead before heading to the babysitter, a neighbor's house 2 blocks away, the walk quick in the warming sun. "Be good for Daddy," she whispered, leaving Faith with toys and a sippy cup, her heart light as she drove to the hospice, the radio tuned to country, her mind on the evening shift and Stephen's pickup at 4 p.m. Stephen arrived at the babysitter's at 3:58 p.m., his white pickup pulling up smooth, his smile wide as he scooped Faith up, her giggles filling the cab as he buckled her in, his voice playful, ready for daddy time. "Princess," the babysitter waved goodbye. Trisha's text at 4:05 p.m. A simple on my way to work. Love you both. Stephen drove to an Airbnb in Port St. Lucie, a 2-bedroom rental he'd booked for the night, his plans simmering since the divorce, his resentment over child support, and Trisha's independence boiling into something darker. The Airbnb was quiet, a suburban house with a fenced yard, Faith playing with blocks on the living room carpet as Stephen paced, his phone silent, his mind on the text he'd sent to Trisha at 4:30 p.m. Faith sick, fever. Faith sick, fever. Throwing up, come quick. Trisha's reply came fast, on my way, up a first. His no home now a hook, her shift cut short as she raced to the rental, her scrubs rumpled, her heart pounding with worry for Faith. Trisha arrived at 5:15 p.m. The door unlocked, her knock unanswered as she stepped in, her voice calling, "Stephen? Faith? Okay." The living room was dim, Faith's toys scattered, the air thick with something off, her footsteps soft on the carpet as she moved to the bedroom, the door ajar. Stephen waited inside, his face calm, his hands loose at his sides, the room sparse with a queen bed and nightstand, the window curtained against the fading light. "She's in here," he said, his voice even, Trisha's relief flooding as she entered, her eyes on the empty bed, confusion turning to surprise as Stephen closed the door behind her, the click loud in the quiet. "Where's Faith?" she asked, turning, her back to him, his hands moving fast, grabbing her from behind, one arm around her waist, the other clamping her mouth, her muffled scream lost in his palm as she thrashed, her elbows jabbing his ribs, her sneakers kicking back against his shin. The struggle was fierce, but one-sided, Stephen's Air Force training giving him the edge, his 6-foot frame overpowering Trisha's 5'6" as he slammed her against the bed, her head cracking the headboard with a thud that dazed her. Stars bursting behind her eyes. "Stop fighting," he growled, his knee in her back, his hands wrenching her arms behind her, duct tape from his pocket ripping loud as he bound her wrists, the plastic biting into her skin, her cries muffled as he taped her ankles, her body writhing on the mattress, the springs creaking under her weight. Trisha's voice broke through the tape over her mouth. "Stephen, please." "Faith, where's she?" His face twisted, his voice cold. "She's safe. This is about us, Trisha. You took everything." The resentment poured out. The divorce's bitterness, the child support draining his paychecks, her new life without him, a wound that festered. His hands grabbing her throat, his thumbs pressing into the soft hollow, her eyes bulging as she gasped, her bound hands useless, her legs kicking against the bed frame, the wood splintering slightly from the force. Trisha fought with the desperation of a mother, her head thrashing, her teeth biting the tape, tearing a small hole to scream. "Let me go. You're hurting me." Stephen's grip tightened, his weight pinning her chest. Her breaths coming in wheezes, her face reddening as veins pulsed in her neck, her vision spotting black. The pressure built, her windpipe crushing under his fingers, her body arching once, her final kick weakening, her eyes locking on his in a plea of terror and betrayal, her chest heaving then stilling, her life ebbing in, going limp beneath him. "No names that died. It traces." Stephen released her, his breaths ragged, his hands shaking as he stepped back. Trisha's form sprawled on the bed, her eyes open and glassy, her lips blue, the tape loose around her wrists from her struggles. Panic surged, but so did calculation. His Air Force discipline kicking in, his mind flashing to the plan he'd turned over for weeks. The Airbnb a stage for the end, the body to disappear, the story to hold. He sat with her for minutes, the room silent save for the tick of the clock, his hands steadying as he cut the tape free, her arms falling slack, her body cooling on the sheets. Faith was safe at the sitters. His text to Trisha the lure, his pickup of the girl at 6 p.m., a cover for the night. Stephen dragged Trisha's body to the bathroom, the tile cold under her, the tub filling with water as he stripped her clothes, her naked form pale in the fluorescent light, her pregnancy making her belly round and vulnerable. He weighed her down with dumbbells from his gym bag, the metal clanking as he tied rope around her ankles, her wrists bound again, the water rising to cover her face, her hair floating like seaweed. The first plan had been a boat rental from Stewart Marina, the body chopped and dumped in the Intracoastal Waterway, but risk turned him to the Hungryland Wildlife Management Area, a 30,000-acre swamp south of Palm Beach, a 30,000-acre swamp south of Palm Beach. Its canals and sawgrass, a perfect grave. He loaded her into his truck's bed, a tarp over her, the dumbbells chained, the drive to Hungryland, a 90-minute haul through darkening roads, the preserve's gate unlocked for hunters, the night air thick with mosquito hum. At the canal by 8 p.m., the moon rising over the mangroves, Stephen waded into the shallow water, his boots sinking in mud, the body heavy as he dragged it from the truck, the tarp crinkling, her form rolling out with a splash, the dumbbells pulling her under, the canal swallowing her, bubbles rising as she sank to the bottom, the alligator's eyes glinting in the dark. He returned to the Airbnb by 9:30 p.m., the house spotless. Faith picked up and asleep in her car seat. The story ready. Tricia never showed for pickup. Her car at home with groceries. Her purse inside. The search to begin. The call to the sitter at 9:45 p.m. His voice worried. Tricia didn't come. Faith's with me. Something's wrong. The 911 at 10:15 p.m. His plea scripted. My ex-wife's missing. Faith was supposed to go to her, but she didn't show. Martin County Sheriff's deputies arrived at the duplex by 10:45 p.m. The house dark. Tricia's car in the driveway. Keys in the ignition. Her purse on the passenger seat with wallet and phone. Groceries on the counter. Milk, bread, lunch meat untouched since morning. Deputy Mark Card, 29, with a fresh face and a nose for details, knocked on Stephen's Airbnb door at 11 p.m. His partner Deputy Ryan Dunn beside him, their flashlights cutting the night. Stephen answered calm, Faith asleep on the couch, his story flowing. Tricia was picking up Faith at 4. Texted she was running late. Then nothing. Her car's at home, but she's gone. Card noted the duplex's normalcy. The groceries, a sign of routine, interrupted. The search launching at dawn. Volunteers combing beaches, helicopters buzzing the intracoastal, divers scanning canals. Tricia's photo, smiling, auburn hair, blue eyes on flyers. By noon, April 27. Stephen played the worried ex, his tears on TV interviews. Tricia's a great mom. Faith needs her. Come home. The community rallied Hoag Sound Bible Church, where Tricia volunteered, holding vigil. Her hospice co-workers searching swamps. Her brother John calling 911 at 5 p.m. April 27, his voice breaking. My sister's missing. Help find her. Neighbors reported his truck at the duplex at 3 p.m. Groceries bought by Tricia at Publix at 2:45 p.m. Her routine unbroken until the pickup. Stephen's alibi held. Work at the base. Faith with him. But Card smelled lies. His interviews with Tricia's friends revealing Stephen's jealousy. His divorce bitterness over child support. His accidental pregnancy claims. The search of the duplex April 28 yielded nothing. The car, vacuumed for fibers. Her phone's last ping at 3:58 p.m. near the sitters. Stephen cooperated. Polygraph. May 2 showing deception. His story shifting. She was stressed. Maybe ran off. But tips poured. A woman matching Tricia at a gas station in Stewart at 5 p.m. Dismissed as a lookalike. The Airbnb search May 5 found a chainsaw in the garage. Bought April 25 in North Carolina. Acid bottles in the trunk. A hole dug in Hungerland per A. Tip from a hunter spotting fresh dirt. Stephen's interrogation May 24 was a marathon. Card and Dunn in a stark room. The tape rolling as Stephen sweated. His story cracking. She came for Faith. We argued over money. I pushed her. She hit her head. The push turned to choke. His hands around her throat, her nails scratching. Her pregnancy no shield as she gasped. Her face purple, her body slumping. He confessed the rest, stripped her, dismembered with the chainsaw in the Airbnb bathroom, the blade whining through bone, blood spraying the tile, her parts bagged in trash liners, the acid tub of final dissolve, the hole in Hungerland, the grave. McGreeve, the search May 25, unearthed the tub. Acid-eaten bones floating in slurry, DNA confirming Tricia. The chainsaw's teeth matching cuts. Stephen's plea deal, June 2016, second-degree murder, for 35 years. Body location traded for no death penalty. His sentencing September 30th, 2016. Judge Gary L. Ellis. Yancey calling him cold and calculating. The courtroom silent as Rebecca Hasselbach, Tricia's mom, spoke. You took my daughter, my granddaughter's mother, wrought in hell. The aftermath rippled. Faith raised by Rebecca and John. The aftermath rippled. Faith raised by Rebecca and John. Her life alight amid grief. The duplex sold. Home sounds beaches quieter. Stephen in Jefferson Correctional. His appeals denied 2020. His letters claiming accident. The acid tub a relic in evidence. Tricia's memory and scholarships for nursing students. Her hospice work a legacy. The Hungryland hole filled, but the pain eternal. As this story fades, another one waits in the shadows. The spring breeze whispered through the palm trees, lining the quiet streets of Calera, Alabama, carrying the faint scent of blooming jasmine and distant barbecue smoke on a warm Friday evening. It was January 12, 2018, and Kathleen Dawn West, 42 years old, with a vibrant laugh and auburn hair that framed her freckled face, slipped into her pink sports bra and multicolored underwear. Her reflection in the bedroom mirror, showing a woman who embraced her body with confidence. Known to her online fans as Kitty Cat West, Kathleen had built a secret world as an adult model. Her subscription website, a source of income that funded the family's comfortable life in their suburban home at 79 8th Avenue. A two-story brick house with a tidy lawn and a trampoline in the backyard for their 13-year-old daughter, Logan, who was spending the night at Jeff's parents' house. Kathleen's days were a blend of stay-at-home mom duties, packing Logan's lunch, folding laundry in the sunlit kitchen, and her private modeling sessions. Her webcam lighting up with paying viewers who adored her playful poses and sultry smile. She moved with the grace of someone who had overcome hardships, her 5'6" frame curvy and strong from yoga classes at the local gym, her green eyes sparkling with the thrill of her double life. A secret she shared only with her husband, Jeff, who snapped photos for her site, his camera clicking in the soft glow of their bedroom. Jeff West, 44, with his stocky build and salt and pepper hair, leaned against the door frame in his jeans and t-shirt, his eyes following Kathleen as she adjusted her pink stilettos, the heels clicking softly on the hardwood floor. A former Army recruiter and campus security officer at Jefferson State Community College, Jeff carried the steady reliability of a man who'd served his country and provided for his family. His days filled with patrolling the campus and coaching Logan's soccer team on weekends. Their marriage, spanning 14 years since meeting at a Super Bowl party in 2004, had started with sparks. Jeff's sweet demeanor a balm for Kathleen's turbulent past. Her first marriage ending in divorce after years of struggle. Her first marriage ending in divorce after years of struggle. Her dreams of stability finding root in his quiet strength. They had Logan in 2005, the girl's arrival a joy that bound them tighter, their home a haven of family photos and Logan's artwork on the fridge. But lately, the harmony had frayed, Jeff's frustration growing over Kathleen's drinking, her late nights on the computer, the way her online world pulled her away from him and Logan. He watched her now, his smile tight as she posed for a quick selfie. Her voice light, one more for the fans. Date night pics later. Jeff nodded, his hand on her waist. "You look amazing, Kat. Let's go. Let's go." Reservations at 7. The couple left the house around 6:30 p.m. Jeff's black Ford F-150 rumbling down the driveway. Kathleen in the passenger seat, her excitement bubbling as she scrolled her phone. Her texts to a friend. Her text, "Date night with my man, feeling sexy." They drove to Olive Garden in Alabaster, the restaurant's warm lights welcoming them, the hostess seating them at a corner booth where the air smelled of garlic bread and marinara. Kathleen ordered chicken Alfredo, her fork twirling pasta as she laughed at Jeff's stories from work, her wine glass filling twice, the alcohol loosening her tongue as she talked about Logan's upcoming game and her latest modeling milestone. 1,000 subscribers, enough for a new laptop. Jeff sipped his beer, his smile polite, but his eyes drifted to his phone. A text from a co-worker about overtime, his mind on the bills piling up. The mortgage, Logan's braces, Kathleen's wine habit that left empty bottles in the recycling. Or the dinner stretched to 8:45 p.m., the check paid with Jeff's card, the couple holding hands as they walked to the truck, Kathleen's heels clicking on the pavement, her arm linked in his, the night air cooling as they drove home. The radio playing soft country tunes. Back at the house by 9:15 p.m. The street quiet with neighbors settled for the night. Jeff unlocked the door, Kathleen kicking off her heels in the entryway, her bare feet padding to the kitchen for a glass of water. The living room was dim, the TV flickering with a muted reality show, the trampoline visible through the window, Logan's soccer cleats by the door. Kathleen poured her drink, the cool liquid soothing her throat, her voice calling to Jeff. "Babe, want a nightcap?" "We got that absinthe from last Christmas." Jeff nodded from the couch, his voice casual. "Sure, Kat. Make it 2. She grabbed the bottle of lucid absinthe from the cabinet, the green glass cool in her hand. Pouring 2 shots into tumblers, the liquid viscous and emerald, the wormwood scent sharp as she carried them to the living room, handing one to Jeff with a wink. To us, 14 years and counting. They clinked glasses, the absinthe burning smooth down her throat. Kathleen settling beside him on the couch, her legs tucked under her, her hand on his knee as the show played, their conversation drifting to Logan's school play and weekend plans. The alcohol flowed easy, the bottle passing between them, Kathleen's laughter growing louder, her cheeks flushing as she leaned into Jeff, her lips brushing his neck in a playful kiss, her hand tracing his arm. Jeff smiled, his arm around her shoulders, but his eyes flicked to his phone on the coffee table, a notification from his banking app, the balance low after Kathleen's latest online shopping spree for lingerie and heels. The mood shifted subtle, Kathleen's buzz turning tipsy as she scrolled her site on her phone, a subscriber's comment making her giggle, Jeff's voice tightening. "Kat, put that away. It's just us tonight," she pouted, her fingers tapping a reply, her voice slurring slightly. "It's work, babe, pays the bills." Jeff's jaw clenched, his hand on her phone, his tone sharper. "Work? That's not work. That's you parading for strangers." Kathleen pulled back, her eyes narrowing, the argument sparking like a match in dry grass, her voice rising. "You knew what I did when we started. You take the money." "Don't complain now." The fight escalated, words flying like sparks. Kathleen standing, her glass sloshing absinthe on the carpet, her finger pointing. "You can't handle it." Jeff rose, his face red, his voice a growl. Jealous? You're drunk again, Cat. Always on that damn phone ignoring me, Logan. She laughed, bitter, turning away, her heels forgotten as she headed for the door. I'm going for air. Cool. Jeff grabbed her arm, his grip tight, tight. Her spin pulling free, her stumble toward the front door. The knob turning as she stepped onto the porch, the cool night air hitting her face. Jeff followed, his voice pleading then angry. Cat, come back, talk to me. She waved him off, her bare feet on the driveway gravel, her body swaying as she crossed the street, the absinthe buzzing in her veins. Her phone in hand for a quick text to a friend. Fight with Jeff, need wine. The street was empty, the neighbor's house dark, the trampoline in the yard a shadow under the moon. Jeff watched from the door, his heart pounding, the argument's heat turning to rage as Kathleen reached the curb, her back to him, her laugh mocking in the night. He stepped out, the door closing soft behind him, his bare feet silent on the grass, the bottle in his hand forgotten until the impulse hit, his arm swinging in a wide arc, the glass connecting with the back of her head with a sickening crack, the bottle shattering, shards flying, as Kathleen crumpled to the street, her body folding fetal, blood pooling from the gash, her face scraping concrete. She gasped, her hands clutching her head, her voice a weak moan. Jeff, help. He froze, the rage draining to horror, his hands hovering as she tried to crawl, her fingers digging into the gutter, her legs kicking weakly, the blood slick under her palms. Kathleen's vision blurred, her breath shallow, the pain exploding as she curled, her body shutting down from the blunt force trauma, her heart faltering in the gutter, her life ebbing in minutes, her final twitch, a whisper in the night. Jeff stood over her, the broken bottle glinting in the streetlight, his breaths coming in short gasps, the street silent save for the distant hum of a car. Panic surged, his mind racing. Call 911, lie, run. But calculation won, his Air Force training kicking in, his hands grabbing her under the arms, dragging her body to the side of the road, her head lolling, blood trailing a smear on the asphalt. He left her there, half in the gutter, her pink sports bra askew, her underwear exposed. The stilettos kicked off in the struggle. Her phone dropped yards away. He retreated to the house, his hands washing in the sink, the water running pink, his reflection in the mirror calm as he rehearsed the story. Drunk fight. She stormed out, fell, hit her head. The night stretched, Jeff pacing the living room, the clock ticking to 5 a.m., the neighbor Macorsha Purifoy leaving for work, her headlights catching the form in the road, her scream piercing the dawn as she called 911. There's a woman in the street, hurt bad, bleeding. Calera police arrived at 5:15 a.m. Officer Sean Lemley, the scene cordoned with tape, the air thick with the metallic tang of blood. Kathleen's body fettled in the gutter. Kathleen's body fettled, her face down, blood matted in her hair, the gash on her head deep and jagged, shards of green glass nearby from the absinthe bottle. Lemley knelt, his glove on her neck finding no pulse, her body cold, rigor setting in, the time of death estimated 1 to 3 a.m. The ambulance arrived, paramedics confirming death. The coroner called Dr. Bush. Lena Evans, arriving by 6 a.m., her team bagging the body. The scene photographed, Kathleen's underwear askew, her sports bra twisted. No ID on her, the phone yards away with a cracked screen. Neighbors gathered, whispers rippling. That's Cat West. Oh God, her husband. Jeff emerged at 5:30 a.m., his face shocked, his voice breaking to officers. What happened? Cat, she was drunk. We fought. She went out for air. I fell asleep. Oh God. No, Lemley noted his calm under the tears, his story flowing. Date night at Olive Garden, drinks at home, argument over her online work, her storming out. The investigation moved fast. Shelby County Sheriff's Office taking lead. Detectives interviewing Jeff at the station by 7 a.m. His story consistent. She drank too much, always does, jumps on the trampoline, dances on boxes. I went to bed at 10:30, woke to sirens, but cracks showed. His phone data pinging the house all night. No calls after 10:54 p.m. The door opened for seconds. A text to a friend at 11:02 p.m. Cat's out cold, literally. The crime scene unit combed the street. Glass shards from the absinthe bottle matching the one in the kitchen sink. Blood on the porch, consistent with a drag. Kathleen's nails broken from a fight. Skin cells under them, not Jeff's. Let me see, Kitty. The autopsy at the Shelby County morgue revealed the horror. Blunt force trauma to the head from a heavy object. The skull fractured in two places. The bottle's neck, the likely weapon. Death by massive brain bleed. Her back 0.22. Her back 0.3 times legal limit. But the blow lethal, even sober. Defensive wounds on her arms. Bruises on her palms from grabbing. The struggle explicit in the scrape on her knee. The fetal position her last defense. Jeff's calm raised flags. His tears selective for cameras. His quick call to a lawyer at 8 a.m. His story to friends. She fell, hit her head, too much to drink. The media swarmed. Cam girl mom found dead headlines. Kathleen's online life a spectacle. Her kitty cat site frozen. Subscribers mourning. Jeff's interviews measured. She was my world. Pray for Logan. But whispers grew. His jealousy over her modeling, arguments over money. Her $5,000 monthly. From fans, dwarfing his campus salary. Not marked. Try and see. Friends came forward. A co-worker recalling Jeff's rants. Cat's on that site again, ruining us. The search of the house January 14 yielded the bottle shards, blood in the sink, a phone log of texts. Cat to Jeff at 10:45 p.m. You're throwing away 14 years. Goodbye. His reply, show me now or it's over. No more games. The fight's thread, her naked pic sent in anger. His I love you for life, coda lie. The arrest came February 22nd, 2018. Deputies cuffing Jeff at his parents' home. His face blank as Logan cried. The charge murder. The warrant detailing the bottle as weapon. The drag marks, the defensive wound. Bail denied. Jeff in Shelby County Jail. His lawyer, John Robbins, fighting accident. Drunk fall, no murder. The trial opened November 16, 2020. In Columbiana, the courtroom packed. Prosecutor Daniel McBrayer laying the motive. Jeff's rage over Cat's drinking and modeling. The texts, a roadmap of discord. The bottle thrown in fury. Her crawl to the street, her last act. Witnesses, neighbors, hearing shouts. At 11 p.m., the medical examiner, Dr. Evans on the trauma. Blow from behind. Lethal force, not a fall. Jeff's testimony. She was drunk, jumped on the trampoline, fell off the box, hit her head. I slept through it. But the jury saw intent. Guilty reckless manslaughter. November 20th, 2020. The murder charge reduced. Sentencing February 8, 2021. Judge William Bostic giving 16 years. Jeff's military service and clean record factors, his voice breaking. I loved her. Accident. The aftermath scarred Calera. Logan's life with grandparents. Kathleen's sight memorialized her mother Nancy supporting Jeff. Her voice in court. Good man, forgive. But friends like Brittany Dreisler doubted. The evidence ignored for her online life. The bottle's shards. A truth. The jury half accepted. Jeff's appeal denied 2022. His prison time ticking. The street where Kat crawled a quiet reminder. Her smile and photos a light in the dark. As this story fades, another one waits in the shadows. The winter fog hung low over Modesto, California, wrapping the quiet streets of the Alhambra neighborhood in a gray veil as the morning of December 24th, 2002, dawned cold and still. Lassie Peterson, 27 years old, with a warm smile and dark hair cascading in soft waves, stood in the kitchen of her two-story home at 523 Cabina Avenue, her hands cradling a steaming mug of decaf coffee. The aroma mixing with the faint pine scent of the Christmas tree twinkling in the living room. 8 months pregnant with her son, Connor, due in February, Lassie's belly stretched the fabric of her red blouse, her movements careful but filled with the energy of a woman ready to embrace motherhood. The house, a charming $177,000 purchase from 2000, buzzed with holiday warmth, ornaments glinting on the tree, a wreath on the door, and a stack of wrapped presents for Connor's arrival. Lassie's golden retriever, Mackenzie, sprawled on the linoleum floor, his tail thumping lazily as she chopped tomatoes for a bruschetta dinner, her voice bright as she hummed a Christmas carol. Her phone buzzing with a text from her friend Nicole Atkinson. Can't wait for Christmas at your place. Lassie's life as a substitute teacher was on pause, her days now filled with nursery decorating, blue walls, stuffed animals, a crib waiting for Connor, and planning a festive dinner with her mom, Sharon Rocha, for the next day. Scott Peterson, 30, with his clean-cut jawline and easy charm, moved through the garage, his hands adjusting the fishing rods on his 14-foot aluminum Game Fisher boat. The trailer hitched to his green Ford F-150 pickup. A fertilizer salesman at Trade Corp, Scott carried the polished exterior of a devoted husband, his social media filled with photos of barbecues and hikes, with Lassie, their 5-year marriage a picture of suburban bliss to neighbors. But beneath the surface, tension simmered, his late-night texts to Amber Frey, a 27-year-old massage therapist from Fresno, a secret he'd nurtured since November. Amber, unaware of Lassie or the pregnancy, fell for Scott's lies of being single, their affair a tangle of hotel rooms and whispered promises, his talk of a free life clashing with the weight of fatherhood looming. That morning, he called out to Lassie from the garage, his voice steady, heading to the warehouse, then fishing at Berkeley Marina. Be back for dinner. Lassie nodded, her smile soft. Don't forget the groceries. Babe, love you. He climbed into the truck, the boat rattling behind, his mind already on the plan he'd been turning over for weeks, the fog a perfect cloak for what came next. Lassie busied herself in the house, her hands wiping down counters, her vacuum humming as she tidied the living room, Mackenzie trailing her with a wagging tail. She called Sharon at 10:18 a.m., her voice bubbling with excitement. Connor's kicking like crazy, Mom. Christmas dinner tomorrow's gonna be perfect. Sharon laughed, reminding her to bring cookies, the call ending with love and plans. Lassie texted a friend at 11:15 a.m. Scott's fishing. I'm prepping for the holidays, so ready for Connor. She slipped on black pants and a white shirt, her sneakers by the door for a planned walk with Mackenzie at La Loma Park, the leash hanging on the hook. But the house grew quiet as the clock ticked past 11 a.m., the fog thickening outside, the Christmas lights dim in the haze. Scott, not at the warehouse as claimed, lingered in the house, his presence unnoticed, his footsteps soft on the carpet, his decision made in the cold clarity of the morning, his affair with Amber a doorway to a life without Lassie or Cut. In the kitchen, Lassie stood at the sink, rinsing dishes, the water splashing softly, her humming unbroken until Scott's shadow fell across the counter, his hands moving fast, grabbing a roll of duct tape from a drawer, the kind he used for boat repairs. She turned, her eyes widening at his expression, her voice catching. "Scott, what's wrong?" He didn't answer, his hands looping the tape around her wrists, pinning her arms behind her back, the plastic sticking to her skin as she twisted, her pregnant belly slowing her gasp sharp. "Scott, stop. What are you doing?" Her voice rose, her body stumbling against the counter, a glass crashing to the floor, the shatter loud in the quiet house. Scott's face was hard, his hands wrapping the tape tighter, his strength overpowering her as he pushed her to the linoleum, her knees buckling, her plea desperate. "Connor, please." "The baby." He knelt, his hands finding her throat, his thumbs pressing into the soft flesh under her jaw, her pulse racing as she clawed at his wrists, her nails drawing blood, her kicks weak against his weight. Lassie's eyes bulged, her face reddening, veins pulsing in her temples, her breath a ragged wheeze as she fought, her body arching, her final words a whisper. "Please," before her chest stilled, her face purpled, her life slipping away in minutes, Connor's tiny heart stopping with hers. Scott stood, his breaths heavy, his hands trembling as he stepped back, Lassie's body limp on the floor, her eyes open and glassy, her lips blue, the duct tape loose around her wrists as he cut it away, her arms falling slack. Mackenzie whined from the corner, his ears back, the house silent save for the drip of the faucet, the Christmas tree lights blinking unaware. Scott's mind raced, his salesman's calm replaced by a cop-like precision, his plan unfolding. Cover the scene, erase the truth, stick to the alibi. He carried Lassie's body to the garage, her 153-pound frame heavy with pregnancy, her head lolling as he wrapped her in a blue tarp from his toolbox, the plastic crinkling as he tied it with bungee cord, her form compact enough for the truck bed. He loaded her into the Ford, the boat trailer hitched, his fishing gear piled beside her, rods, tackle, an 80-pound concrete anchor he'd crafted weeks earlier, rope coiled around it. The drive to his warehouse at 1027 North Emerald Avenue was quick, the fog shielding his movements as he transferred the body to the boat, the game fisher sagging under the weight, his hands steady as he covered her with a canvas sheet. By 12:45 p.m., Scott reached Berkeley Marina, 90 minutes away, the San Francisco Bay, a gray expanse under the fog, the waves choppy with winter wind. He launched the boat alone, the motor humming as he steered toward Brooks Island. A mile offshore, the horizon empty, the fog a curtain for his crotch. At the drop point, he untied the tarp, Lassie's body pale and still, the anchor rope to her waist, its weight heavy in his hand. He pushed her over the side, the splash soft, the bay swallowing her, the anchor pulling her down to the muddy depths, her red blouse a fleeting glimpse in the water. Scott cast his rod for an hour, the fishing a charade, his mind on the marina receipt, time-stamped 12:54 p.m., his alibi locked in. He returned to the warehouse by 3 p.m., the boat clean, the tarp burned in a fire pit. Later that night, the ash scattered in the backyard wind. Home by 4:30 p.m., he leashed Mackenzie for a staged park walk, the dog's muddy leash left in the yard. His call to Lacey's phone at 5:17 p.m. A performance. "Hey, hon, where are you? Where are you?" "I'm home." The voicemail a lie. The house empty. Lacey's purse on the counter. Her keys by the door. The TV on a Martha Stewart rerun about Moraine. Sharon Rocha's worry sparked by evening. Her calls to Lassie unanswered. Her drive to Covina Avenue at 6 p.m. Finding the house dark. Mackenzie in the backyard. The leash muddy. Lassie's car in the driveway. She called Scott at 6:15 p.m. His voice smooth. She was going to the park. Maybe shopping. Probably with friends. Sharon's heart sank. Her call to Modesto police at 6:45 p.m. Her voice trembling. "My daughter's missing. My daughter's missing." 8 months pregnant. Something's wrong. Officers arrived by 7 p.m. Officer Coonrod leading. The house a puzzle. Lassie's purse with wallet and $200. Her phone with unread texts. No struggle sign. Scott's fishing story holding for now. Neighbors joined the search. La Loma Park scoured. Flyers printed overnight with Lassie's photo, smiling. Pregnant. Last seen in black and white. Posted on every pole. By Christmas Day, Modesto hummed with volunteers, the media swarming. Scott on the news at noon, his eyes wet. "Lassie, come home. Connor needs you." Vigils lit the park. Sharon's tears on TV. Farron's tears on TV. "She's my baby." Someone knows where she is. The investigation tightened. Detective Al Burkini, a seasoned cop with a knack for spotting lies, interviewing Scott at 1 a.m. December 25th. His story too clean. The fishing trip odd for Christmas Eve. The boat unregistered. No fish caught. The warehouse search December 26th found Lassie's hair in the boat. A tarp fiber under her nail clippings from the house. Scott's fishing license bought that morning, not before. Amber Frey's call to police January 24th, 2003. Cracked the case wider. Her affair with Scott detailed. Texts, hotel dates, his claim of being a widower before Lassie vanished. Their last meeting December 20. Wiretaps caught Scott lying to Amber. "I'm in Paris for New Year's." While he stood at a Modesto vigil, Lassie's photo in his hand, his voice calm. The Bay search began January 5th. Sonar sweeping the depths. Divers scouring Brooks Island. Tips flooding. Sightings, theories. Scott's cool demeanor, a red flag. April 13th, 2003. Shattered the case. A dog walker finding Connor's tiny body near Point Isabel, a mile from Brooks Island, his umbilical cord intact. Plastic tape around him, matching Scott's boat supplies. Lassie's torso, arms, and head washed ashore April 14th. The Bay's tides revealing her remains. DNA confirming her identity. The autopsy start. Strangulation, wrists bound. Rope marks from the anchor on her waist. Scott's arrest came April 18th. His truck packed from Mexico, $10,000 cash, camping gear, his brother's ID, his hair dyed blonde. Charged April 21 with 2 counts of first-degree murder, special circumstance for multiple victims. He sat in Modesto jail, the crowd jeering as he arrived. The trial moved to Redwood City for fairness. Opened June 1st, 2004. Prosecutor Rick DiStasso detailing the horror. Lassie's strangulation, Connor's death in utero, the Bay disposal, Scott's affair, a motive, his lies a roadmap of guilt. Defense attorney Mark Garagos pushed a satanic cult theory. No direct evidence, but the hair, tape, and Amber's testimony buried it. The jury deliberated 8 days, convicting November 12, 2004. First degree for Lassie, second degree for Connor. The death penalty recommended December 13. Judge Alfred DeLucci sentenced March 16, 2005. Death row at San Quentin. Scott's face blank as Sharon screamed. You killed my daughter, my grandson. Appeals dragged, the death penalty overturned in 2020 for jury bias. Life without parole, upheld December 8, 2021. Scott's prison letters claiming innocence. His family split. Modesto grieved. The Lassie Peterson Law for Fetal Protection passed. Sharon's Foundation aiding missing persons. Covina Avenue's house sold. The nursery empty. Lassie's smile, a vigil's light in the fog. As this story fades, another one waits in the shadows. The early morning light filtered through the half-drawn blinds of the Watts family home in Frederick, Colorado, casting soft stripes across the king-sized bed where Shanann Watts lay sleeping, her body heavy with the weight of her 15-week pregnancy. It was August 13, 2018, just past 1:48 a.m., and the house at Saratoga Trail stood quiet in the suburban neighborhood, its two-story frame a picture of middle-class normalcy, with a neatly trimmed lawn and a minivan in the driveway. Shanann, 34 years old, with long dark hair and a smile that could fill a room, had returned home only hours earlier from a business trip to Arizona, her suitcase still unpacked by the stairs, her purse on the kitchen counter, her phone charging on the nightstand with a text from her friend Nicole Atkinson. Glad you're home safe. Talk tomorrow. She stirred slightly, her hand resting on the small bump of her belly where their son Nico grew. Her dreams a mix of excitement for the baby and worry over the strains in her marriage. Shanann was a force of nature, a sales rep for the multi-level marketing company Level. Her days, a whirlwind of Thrive supplement pitches and motivational posts on Facebook. Her nights devoted to her daughters, Della Marie, 4, with her father's dark eyes and a love for unicorns, and Celeste Catherine, 3, the CC with curly blonde hair and a giggle that melted heart. The girls slept in their shared room down the hall, Bella clutching her stuffed unicorn, Cece tangled in her blankets, their breath soft, and even in the cool air from the AC unit humming outside. Chris Watts, 33, with his neatly trimmed beard and easygoing smile that charmed co-workers at Anadarko Petroleum, slipped into the bedroom, his bare feet silent on the carpet, his mind a storm of resentment and resolve. He had waited up, pretending to sleep on the couch when Shanann arrived. Driven home by Nicole after a red-eye flight, her hug at the door lingering with exhaustion and relief. Chris was the picture of the all-American dad on the outside, 6'1", with a lean build from CrossFit sessions. His Facebook profile, a montage of family hikes and Father's Day barbecues. But inside, the cracks had widened into chasms. The couple, married since 2012 after meeting on a dating app in North Carolina, had moved to Frederick in 2015 for Chris's job as an operator at the oil and gas company. Their $400,000 home, a symbol of stability amid financial ups and downs. Shanann's LaBelle gig brought in $65,000 to $70,000 a year, enough to cover the mortgage and the girls' preschool. But the bankruptcy filing in 2015 from credit card debt still stung. Chris's resentment building over her work from home hours that felt like constant hustling. He had started an affair in June with Nicole Kessinger, a 29-year-old geologist at Anadarko, their lunches turning to texts and hotel rooms. Her unaware, he was married until July. His lies a web he spun tighter each day. Chris stood over the bed, his shadow falling across Shanann's face, his hands clenching at his sides, the decision made in the quiet hours after she climbed the stairs, her voice soft as she kissed the girls goodnight. The argument had started in texts the day before, Shanann forwarding him a message from his parents about exposing Cece to nuts despite her allergy. Her words sharp. "You never defend me or the girls. It's always them," Chris had replied coolly, his resentment festering over the pregnancy announcement in July, the third child a chain he couldn't break. His affair with Nicole, a escape he craved more than family. Shanann woke to his touch on her shoulder, her eyes fluttering open, confusion turning to surprise as he pulled her up, his voice low and urgent. "We need to talk. Now." Her voice sleepy but concerned. "Chris, what's wrong? The girls okay?" He led her down the stairs to the living room. The house dark save for the glow of the TV left on mute. The couch where he'd pretended to sleep now, a stage for confrontation. The talk escalated fast, Shanann's voice rising as Chris laid out his ultimatum: separation, divorce, the marriage over. His words cold, his eyes avoiding hers, the affair's shadow unspoken but heavy. Shanann's shock turned to anger, her tears flowing as she accused him of betrayal, her hands gesturing wildly. "You've been distant for months, the texts with her. What about the girl?" "Nico." Chris's face hardened, his resentment boiling over at her emotion, her pregnancy a reminder of the life he wanted to lead. In a flash of rage, he grabbed her by the neck, his hands wrapping around her throat from behind, his thumbs pressing into the soft flesh under her jaw, her gasp sharp as she clawed at his wrists, her nails drawing blood. Shanann fought, her body twisting, her elbow jabbing his ribs, her voice a strangled plea. Chris stopped, the baby, but his grip tightened, his 6'1" frame overpowering her 5'5", her legs kicking against the couch, her eyes bulging as the pressure built, her windpipe crushing under his fingers, her face reddening then purpling, veins throbbing in her temples. The struggle lasted minutes that felt eternal, Shanann's hands prying at his, her nails breaking skin, her final gasp a whisper. "The girls," as her body went limp, her eyes rolling back, the life ebbing from her in a final twitch. Chris released her, her body slumping to the floor, her neck bruised purple, her face swollen, her chest still, the house silent, save for his ragged breath. Panic hit, but so did calculation, his mind flashing to the oil site at Survey 319, his work at Anadarko, the shallow grave he'd scouted in his mind during late-night drive. He carried her body to the garage, her form light in his arms, her head lolling, blood from a bitten lip staining his shirt. The girls stirred upstairs, Bella's voice sleepy. "Daddy," Chris froze, his voice calm. "Go back to bed, princess. Daddy's here." He loaded Shanann into the back of his Ford Expedition, her body folded awkwardly, a blanket over her. The drive to the site, a blur of dark roads and pounding heart. Survey 319, 12 miles northeast, was a remote oil battery, tanks looming like giants in the night, the access road gated but unlocked for employees. He arrived around 5:30 a.m., the sky lightening to gray, his flashlight beam cutting the dark as he dug a shallow grave near Tank 7. the soil soft from recent rain, the hole 4 feet deep, Shanann's body wrapped in a sheet. Lowered in, dirt piled over, a cross of oil pipe marking the spot. Back home by 6 a.m., the girls woke, Bella rubbing her eyes. "Where's Mommy?" Chris's voice steady. "Mommy went to heaven, girls. We'll see her soon." He fed them breakfast, cereal bowls clinking. He fed them breakfast, cereal. Their confusion turning to quiet as he loaded them into the car. Their pajamas rumpled, their stuffed animals clutched tight. The drive back to Survey was tense, the girls chattering then quieting. Cece asking Mommy coming back. Chris's throat tight. "Soon, baby." At the tanks, he climbed the stairs to the manway, the metal cold under his hands. He climbed the stairs to the manway, the metal cold under his hand. The lid heavy as he lifted it, the crude oil stench hitting like a wave. Bella first, her small body 4 feet tall. Her giggles silenced as he lowered her feet first into the 8-foot deep tank, the oil bubbling up to her waist, her eyes wide. "Daddy." "No." He pushed her down, her head submerging with a splash, her body floating briefly before sinking, the oil's weight pulling her under. Cece next, her 3-year-old frame lighter, her cries muffled. "Bella, Mommy." Chris held her tight, whispering it's okay, lowering her in, her kicks weakening, the oil closing over her face, her small form vanishing into the black. The drive home was a blur, the girl's absence a void. Chris arriving at 8 a.m. The house empty, Shanann's purse and phone on the counter, her wedding ring on the nightstand. Nicole Atkinson, Shanann's best friend and Lavelle co-worker, texted at 7:30 a.m. "Where are you?" "Late for our call." No reply. Her worry growing, the drive to the Watts home by 9 a.m. The door unlocked, the house silent, Shanann's shoes by the stairs, her keys on the counter, the girls' toys untouched. Nicole's heart pounded. Her call to the Weld County Sheriff's Office at 9:37 a.m., her voice urgent. "Shanann's missing. Her car's here, but no one's home." Deputies arrived at 10 a.m. Officer Coonrod knocking. Officer Coonrod knocking. Chris answering in his work polo, his face calm. Shanann left early with the girls, trip to see family. The search of the home yielded nothing, Chris's story holding, but Nicole's insistence led to a welfare check. The deputies, noting the suitcase, the purse, the uneaten breakfast. Chris drove to work at Anadarko, his desk a normalcy amid the storm. His co-worker, Nickel Kessinger, texting. "Miss you lunch?" His reply casual, his mind on the site, the bodies hidden. By noon, the story leaked to the media. Chris on the porch with a reporter at 1 p.m., his voice breaking. "Shanann's gone. The girls too. Please help find them." The cameras rolled, his tears genuine to some. His pleas for return heartfelt, the neighborhood buzzing with search parties, flyers with Shanann's photo, pregnant, smiling, plastered on poles. The Weld County Sheriff's Office treated it as missing persons. Detective Baumhover interviewing Chris at 3 p.m., his story consistent. Argument over divorce, Shanann snapping, taking the girls. But cracks showed, Shanann's texts to friends. "Chris wants separation. I'm fighting for my family." Her Facebook post, July 31. "Chris and I talked. We're good. Nico's coming soon. The polygraph scheduled August 15th. The polygraph scheduled August 5th. Chris's nerves fraying. His lies, a house of cards. The polygraph room was sterile. The machine's wires cold on Chris's fingers. The questions probing. Did you harm Shanann? His denials flat. The needles jumping. The examiner noting deception. His story shifting. She killed the girls. I strangled her in rage. The confession cracked open the case. Chris led to the site in cuffs, the shallow grave dug up at 5 p.m. Shanann's body wrapped in a sheet, her neck bruised purple. The strangulation clear. The strangulation clear. The pregnancy terminated by the force. Divertors at the tanks by 6 p.m. The crude oil pump, Bella's small form, floating up, oil slicked and pale, her unicorn pajamas torn, suffocation by drowning in the viscous black. Cece next, her 3-year-old body curled fetal, the oil in her lungs, the smothering deliberate. The charges came at 11:30 p.m., 3 first-degree murders, tampering with bodies, the unlawful termination, Chris's face blank in booking, his orange jumpsuit a uniform of guilt. The media frenzy exploded. Monster Dad kills family headlines. The neighborhood, a circus of cameras. Shanann's parents, Frank and Sandy Zusek, flying in from North Carolina, their grief raw on TV. Oh, our daughter was a fighter. How could he? The preliminary hearing, August 21, detailed the horror. Shanann's strangulation, her fight marks on Chris's arms, the girl's suffocation, the oil tanks a tomb of cruelty. Nicole Kessinger cooperated, her affair texts a motive. Chris's lies to her separated a web unraveled. The grand jury indicted September 4th, 9 counts. Bail denied, Chris on suicide watch. His cell, a 23-hour isolation. The plea November 6th, guilty to all, avoiding death row. The sentencing November 19th, a courtroom of tears. Judge Kopkow's voice thunder, vicious, inhumane, the worst I've seen. Chris's face stoic as Frank Zusek spoke. You murdered my daughter, my grandbabies, rot in hell. The aftermath rippled, the house sold, the neighborhood scarred. Shannon's Thrive Group mourning, Shannon's Thrive Group mourning. Her parents, founding a foundation for domestic violence victims. Chris in Dodge Correctional, Wisconsin. His letters to family denied. His prison ministry a redemption ploy. The Netflix doc American Murder 2020 revived it. The texts and videos a window to the fall. Shannon's voice in videos a ghost. We're unbreakable. The Watts name a caution. Frederick's quiet streets a reminder of love turned lethal. The oil tanks drained, the grave filled, but the pain eternal. As this story fades, another one waits in the shadows.